Well, that all takes us back a bit.
It does, especially that hairdo.
Yeah. You don't do many of these, do you?
What, dining interviews?
Yeah.
I seem to do lots and lots around the world. Yeah, I guess a couple of times a year, Philip. But it's been a difficult couple of years for me.
Yeah.
And the only thing that people really wanted to talk to me about was the death of my partner. So it was just a bit difficult for a couple of years.
And was that something
about it.
that has become easier to talk about as the time's passed?
Now, yeah. I mean, the suffering's over. She suffered for a good 2 years. She was told she was terminal 2 years before she died.
Yeah.
So it was that was the most difficult time, was the 2 years leading up to her
It's
death.
really sad. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Onto other things then.
Yes.
In that case. Let's not...
Prior to happier things.
Yeah. But actually, I want to go right back to the start, if that's OK,
That's
because it was your mum that started all of this off, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a competition in the Sunday People, and it said, "Girls, you can be the face and shape of '83." And Mum put me in a beautiful Victorian basque, and we sent it in on a little Kodak camera, a little Kodak Brownie.
Yeah.
And I got a call when I was still at school saying I'd reached the final 20. I just didn't believe that would happen. It wasn't really planned, if you know what I mean.
When I was reading this morning, I had to check because I thought, well, she can't have been 16. You must have got that wrong. It can't have been 16.
I was nearly 17. I was 16, hence why I got kicked out of school.
Hence why, exactly, you were at school, you got kicked out of school for it. I mean, the rules on this have changed now. I think for page 2 you have to be 18, but it seems so young to have started.
Let's explain how you got there, because you said your mum put you in the basque, and then you ended up with a photographer. You're having your picture taken at 16 with a photographer who says, "Can you take your top off?"
Yeah, he was very, very, very famous photographer at the time. He still is. His name is John Kelly. He was married to Vivian Neves, who was like the first nude in the Times in the 70s.
Right.
And she was always like a favourite pin-up of mine, and he was a favourite photographer. And he just said to me, "Can I just take some test shoots? They won't appear anywhere. Just want to show you how tasteful they can be." And he said that I really believe that you could be a big star in this. And I said, OK. I mean, my mum was with me, and Mum was a big fan of his, and she knew he was very tasteful. I rang my dad at first. My dad weren't really sure, but he reckoned that I would get a contract with the Sun because of this. And I said, well, as long as nobody sees them, I've got my A-levels to do at school on Monday. But they did go front page on the Sunday.
Well, he sent them to the newspaper.
Yeah, he showed the editor of the newspaper, and they went straight on the front page. And I had to go to school. And I'd always been one of those kids with a jumper, a cardigan, a blazer. Yeah.
And suddenly you're like that.
Yes, I was.
What did your mum think?
I mean, I was brought up with page 3. I'm from a very working class family, and page 3 is very tasteful, you know. Unfortunately, it's not around anymore because of the internet. And
do you think it's unfortunate it's not around anymore? I mean, it had a lot of people who didn't like it being there.
It was still read by over 20 million people, so you can't... It wasn't as if it was top shelf. It was an institution. And it depends, you know, how you played it. It's like... I was never tacky, you know. It's a very thin line that you just don't cross with glamour modelling.
I mean, I have no sort of issue with it at all, really. It was just that you were so young when it started.
Yeah, I didn't believe they would give me a contract, to be honest, because I was still... And I was nearly 17 and I wasn't 18. The Falklands War was going on, and all the boys in the Falklands were saying, "We want more Sam. She's making us very happy." Show you. And that's when the Sun signed me for 4 years. So I kind of knew it was a 4-year... career, and if I did it, I wanted to be the best at it and do it to my best of my knowledge and best of my knowledge. Just be...
And you did. I mean, you really did. And then that led to the... Well, actually, you sang before.
I did, indeed.
Yeah, the singing was what your main passion was and your love. And that...
I didn't expect the page 3 thing to happen at all, really. It was unbelievable.
But the music was... people may not know, but this is massive. It was massive around the world.
Yeah. BBC Breakfast banned this from being played because they said it was a little bit too saucy.
You had a little cut up your shorts, didn't you?
that is because I didn't really want to go on... I didn't want to do my first video typically booby and typically sexy, because I always considered myself a bit of a rock chick. And my first band was called SFX. I was always involved in bands. And I wore my dad's jean jacket, and me and my mum were thinking, what can we do?
Oh,
That's my dad's jean jacket.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So now there's a new album.
Yeah, coming up. Yeah.
Coming out.
It'll be my 10th one now.
You say all the tracks are about life, and you've certainly, you know, as you
That's
said
right.
at the beginning of the interview, you have a hell of a life over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And an autobiography.
Well, yeah, as I was writing the book, the words of the album, they just coincided with my life. So the two together, they go together.
Will some of it be hard to go back to write?
Most of my life has been amazing, I must say, and I just feel so honoured and happy that I've been given this opportunity in life to do. Even just to still be here, sitting on this couch. I've sat on here for a few times in my life. And
what will be the hardest bits to revisit or be open and talk about?
I guess there's been a few boyfriends I wouldn't have gone out with. I'm sure there's a lot of women who agree with that, or men.
Yeah, absolutely.
But other than that, I've got no regret.
Do you have to let them know you're... I mean, obviously they'll know now because we're talking about it, but I mean, do you have to make them aware that you're going to write this all down in a book? How does that work?
It's going to be a funny book. You know, it's not going to be sensational in the way of... I don't want to ruin anybody's lives.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the people that I did date and go out with or went through things with are now married with children. I will approach it in a funny way, not in a journalistic way. It will read like a movie. It will read like a novel, because there's 33 years of my life.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing it. And you just had your birthday.
I have.
Got back from LA, so you couldn't celebrate. But you had a big party last weekend, yeah?
Yeah, just Saturday, just gone. It was brilliant.
You.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for having me.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.